Welcome to The Fire Within. I'm your host, Joel Young. I'd like to introduce my guest today, which is somebody that I've been wanting to meet for a long time, Stephen Cipes, the founder and chair of Summerhill Winery. I know a little bit about Stephen. I know his children, and he's going to give us a real fill in the blanks on his entrepreneurial venture in the wine industry in British Columbia. Thank you for coming, Stephen.
Thank you for having me, Joel. It's a great honor to be here.
In having earlier discussions with your children, particularly Ezra, I was told that you've come from the New York financial community, give or take, eh?
I come from New York, all right. I'm a Manhattanite.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes. But I wasn't in the financial community. I was almost raised in the real estate industry.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But what prompted you to come to Kelowna in the first place?
Thank you for asking that good question, Joel. There were many factors. One was that I've been on my own for a very long time. I was basically orphaned in the 7th grade, and I've been on my own, working hard, and still work hard every day. Most people work 9 to 5. I work 5 to 9, 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., 7 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always been like that. I'm just kind of a driven person, and I love to work. And I love being creative. Workaholic,
Yeah.
yes. And when I say I grew up in the real estate industry, it was more a yearning to do very well at an early age. I was fascinated with boats, and I got into the boat business by buying and selling, fixing them up. In those days, it was wooden boats. I'm talking the 50s and 60s.
Yeah.
You know, or early 60s, actually. I graduated high school in 62, and in 61, I had 17 boats to my name.
Wow.
Wow. But in 62, I went right into buying and selling real estate because I could get my real estate license and so on. So I was always entrepreneurial, always fixing up and making something better and reselling it and moving along type of thing. Very entrepreneurial from day one.
It is said, theoretically, that an entrepreneur is a person that looks at the world and is the same as everybody else, but thinks differently.
Very true.
And the two cornerstones of entrepreneurship are innovation and creativity.
Innovation and creativity. Beautiful, yes, well said. Thank you. I have to digress a second and admire the title of the show, The Fire Within. Those words are very important to me. I had no idea that we could come to those words because to me, the fire within is everything. It's our heart, you know.
That's
it's
exactly
who we
right.
are. The heart is so much more powerful in emissions of electrical energy and every other energy than the brain. The brain is a great tool. We love it. We cherish it, and we listen to it. But it's not the boss. That's the boss.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you stop listening there,
Yeah.
you're not going to go very far here, type
No,
of thing.
I love The Fire Within
Yes.
as a title because it reminded me very strongly about the emotional power, the passion
Yes.
of individuals.
Yes.
Whether you are an existing or potential entrepreneur, entrepreneurship fans the flames of innovation and creativity that maybe lead to becoming an entrepreneurial person.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much jammed into that title. Okay, I'm sorry, carry on, I'm interrupting you.
I was thrilled to buy and sell, and then I came to a realization that, hey, I didn't like the fact that each time I would buy and resell a property, it would become more valuable, and that made the prices of the homes more expensive. And I started to have an inner thought about that and say, well, golly, if the house becomes too expensive, then both the husband and wife have to work to make the payments, and that takes away from the children. And I didn't like that. I started feeling guilty for boosting prices. And I said, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to follow my real heart, and I want to go into where I really belong, which is in working with the earth.
Yep.
When I was in real estate, I was working with the earth in an abstract way. I was the first to pioneer the wetlands and steep slope environmental concerns, and I introduced cluster zoning so that we could leave open space and allow the, the forests to remain, and the birds and the animals live in the forest rather than tear them all down, and all kinds of things like that. And
Where did you meet?
Westchester County,
Oh,
which is
okay.
a wealthy area just above Manhattan. It's a commuting area.
I know where that is.
Yes, I did very, very well, knock on the wood. I became a millionaire before I was 27 years old. and in those days, $1 million was a lot of money.
Hell
so,
yeah.
Yes. So anyway, I felt, hey, Steve, you're not doing the world a great service anymore. Let's go and really be with the earth. And that's what I really longed to do. And one night we were out to dinner with our best friends, Nicola, who was from Italy, and his wife, Mary, who was from Scotland. We were hysterical because she spoke in very thick Scottish brogue, and he spoke a very thick Italian. And I started to say, I really like to, I've done everything I want to do here. I'm thrilled that I don't want to be worth hundreds of millions here. I don't need that. I'm happy. I want to get the heck out of here. Let's do something. She says, oh, you want to go to British Columbia? And I guess, because I said to her, I'd like to find a farm, You want to go to British Columbia? My brother loved it there. A place called the Okanagan Valley.
What? You're kidding?
Oh my gosh.
That's where you got coached to come here?
Yes, from Mary.
For
from
God's
Scotland.
sakes, yeah.
And all of a sudden I said, oh my gosh, my grandmother, on my mother's side, is from Canada. I've always loved Canada. When I was 16, I got my driver's license. The first thing I did was head for Canada. And then when I had one of my boats in 11th grade, I went all the way up the Hudson River and through the Lake Champlain and into St. Jean. And I even learned some French, and it was terrific. I love Canada. Yeah. I got the next plane the next day, and I got the heck out of there, and I never turned back. I love it. I made such a quick, swift decision to just come to my beloved Canada.
Yeah.
And I found this magnificent growing area here.
Yeah.
What a discovery. I mean, pure air, pure water, the northernmost desert viticulture region in the world. What a gift, pristine air.
Yeah.
And I never turned back. I've been here more than 31 years now. And
oh, for God's sakes.
Yeah. So 1986 we moved here.
86?
86.
We were.
So yeah, just loved it.
A few minutes before you came to the studio, we were thinking about when Summerhill started, and it was in 86, was it not?
Yeah. Took title to the land in 86, moved the whole family, my 4 sons and my wife, Wendy, here in 87. And started working on my tractor, which was, such a beautiful thing. Get my hands dirty, change the oil, get down on my hands and knees and, plant grapes.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, what a thrill,
Yeah.
I loved it, and I still love it so much. I love working in the earth, it's beautiful. And it's always you're learning something every day, and nature is a great teacher.
Which son, I can't remember because I'm getting old, which son of yours is deemed to be focused on in the environment?
Oh, they all are. But Gabriel. Yeah.
That's the one I'm thinking of.
He represents Canada, I'm proud to say, in Germany at Demeter, which is the highest rated organic society, or I don't know what you would call them, highest rated, they stamp approval that you're certified organic, but in a biodynamic way. Which means that you plant with the moon, you give back to the soil, it's permaculture, you invite the animals in and cross-planting and the soil nourishment with all kinds of treatments. We even stuff cow horns with manure and have them ferment, and then we spray the vineyard with the fermentation. And so it's a very beautiful thing. Rudolf Steiner, a genius of our time from Germany, invented it, along with the Waldorf School, which all of our children go to the Waldorf School as well. So we're very excited about that too. The beautiful idea that the children should be in their own dream world and in their heart selves, rather than having to learn all the numbers and the letters and having to crack down and pass tests and all that. Let them be their fairyland selves for their childhood.
I agree. That's a good vision.
Yes, it is. Yeah, beautiful to follow. And we're happy with we're the first vineyard to obtain certification both in the cellar and in the vineyard. We're both biodynamic. And then we even brought in the pyramid, which you know about,
Yeah.
which introduces a whole nother.
What prompted that?
Oh, golly, that's a great subject. How much time do we have to talk about that? I could talk about the pyramid all day. I love sacred
bet you could.
geometry.
I bet you could.
Such a wonderful thing. But yeah, all of our gatherings now and all our wines go through the pyramid. Sacred geometry chamber there. It's a beautiful experiment we're doing with liquids for 25 years. So yeah.
I'm fascinated by your theorization about the pyramids and biodynamics. It's fascinating.
Thank you, Joel.
The whole aspect of wine optimizing, wine being optimized through a period of time in the pyramid.
Yes. The Einstein said it best. Basically, there is no matter. This couch, this table, it's all energy. There's only energy.
Yeah.
And we know that we are electrical in nature. We know that we are water, basically. Our bodies are basically water. And that we are made of atoms and neutrons that revolve around in little things called atoms.
Yep.
You know, and all of these things are revolving electrically and so on. So when people talk about vibrations or, you know, aura or any of those terms that have been so-called new age things, they're coming more into mainstream now. I say hallelujah because I've been involved in this for, you know, 35, 40 years, and today it's just all coming back beautifully as, you know, mainstream.
It's catching up to you.
Yeah, it's catching up to me, which I'm proud of it. You know, I've been a leader in it, and I'm proud of it. Anyway, the pyramid will take a wine or water or milk and change the liquid. It's beautiful, and we've proven this over and over and over again. It's conclusive. You can put a wine in there with flaws, and it will accentuate the flaws.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
You can't drink it after just a couple days.
Huh.
It's cooking wine. So every wine that goes through there, we take it through VQA approval first, which is our Vintners Quality Alliance.
Yeah, I understand.
And that tells you in writing if there are any flaws, and if they are, how bad they are, you know. And what happens is we put the wine in there and it accentuates the good qualities, because those VQA wines already had the good qualities.
Yeah.
The only exception there is we put in the sparkling wine before it's VQA'd, because in France and Germany and Italy and Spain, they have a wonderful hundreds of year old tradition of marrying the dosage with the original cuvee for at least 30 days in a cool, dry, dark chamber. And in Europe, there are hundreds of miles of underground Roman arch cellars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a very sensitive person, and when I walked through the underground cellars in Germany and France and Spain, my hands would tingle. And I'd say, oh, what's this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Especially in the tunnels that didn't have electricity. They were still gas lamp lit. And I said to Eric, my new partner at the time, and he's still with me, bless his heart, I said, Eric, we could take our sparkling wines, which are grown in this pristine, magnificent wilderness area of Kelowna, British Columbia, and energize them and finish them in a sacred geometry chamber and make the best wines in the world. And he said, Stephen, we shake hands and we're going to do it, right? Bring pride to all Canadians. And we've done that. We've done that, Joel. We've won the award for the best sparkling wine in the world. And not only once, but 2 and 3 and 4 times now. In fact, this year we won it again.
I drink your Cipes.
Thank you.
I drink
Cipes Brut
Yeah,
is
Brut.
the most awarded wine in Canada. It has never
Yeah.
not won a gold medal 26 years in a row.
Today, how do you market Summerhill?
Well, it's a good question. I'm going to do a remarketing now because we've been very successful with attracting tourists to our place.
Mm-hmm.
We set out to become a tourist attraction, a destination tourist attraction. We were the first winery to build a destination tourist attraction winery. All of the wineries in the 80s were brick or concrete buildings downtown. There were no, I should say, there was Grey Monk, who was sort of they had a destination tourist attraction. Yes, and Sumac Ridge was sort of because it was in a golf course. But no one went out and set out to bring something as a destination tourist attraction in a winery, per se. And we did that. And we also challenged the law at the time that said you can't serve food. I said, wait a minute. Every wine region in the world serves food with wine. Why can't we? And I had to go to Victoria and get that law changed.
Yeah.
You know, and then they told us that you weren't allowed to sit down even for a tasting. I said, wait a second. Supposing we have a person who, you know, needs to sit down. Sorry, you can't have a seat. You're not allowed to have a chair. All those things challenged me. And from day one, the challenges were amazing. We weren't allowed to as famous as our wine became overnight, the Cipes Brut won gold medals in New York and was written up on the front page of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times. Oh, yes. It was fabulous. And it sold out at home. And people that wanted to order it in Saskatchewan and in Ontario and in Alberta. And our government said, no, you can't ship across your own borders. So we were, you know, this has been my struggle for these 25 years is the laws. Right? So we have a lot of firsts at Summerhill. I've got almost 30 of them. And I was recently very honored last year to have been selected as the Founders Award. I got the Founders Award in the wine industry.
Oh, good.
By Harry McWaters. And
that's a good one. I know beautiful. Harry.
Yes, Harry's a wonderful man. He's dedicated his whole life to helping the industry. I admire him greatly.
I was told that he was one of two people that created a rebirth of the wine industry in the Okanagan.
Yes.
Because at the time that he was on site, so to speak, the wine industry was sort of floundering.
Yes. Well, we were facing prices in the U.S. They had labor that was a lot cheaper than ours. They had land prices that were a lot cheaper than ours. Their Riesling grapes sold for $290 to $350 a ton. Our Riesling grapes were, even at that time, close to $1,000 a ton. $650 was cheap, you know, and that's twice the price of theirs. And so, and our bottling costs were higher. We didn't have a bottling plant, and our labor and everything was higher. So we couldn't compete with the U.S. And still today, they have a tremendous advantage. I don't want to rant here, but a U.S. winery can go into the homes of every Canadian with a simple phone call to the LDB, liquor distribution branch, and get into all of our liquor stores, which have the monopoly, basically. But if we wineries want to get into their homes, we have to go through the 3-tier program.
Forget about it.
Oh my God, it's like a nightmare. You need to have an army to get into even one state, never mind the whole United States. But anyway, that's another free trade issue. But you had a good question there, Joel, is how are we doing our marketing today? And today, of course, we know that the internet is the way to market. Direct marketing is the biggest thing today. And we are certified organic, and the organic wine segment of the industry is the fastest growing segment of the wine industry in the world. If you want to buy wine for Christmas in Europe that's organic, you better buy it now in October and November because the shelves are cleaned out. It's like that. People are realizing they don't want to ingest chemicals. And wine, believe it or not, grapes are thin-skinned, hey? You spray them with gramoxone and these horrifically invasive chemicals, it goes into the wine and the wine becomes toxic. Literally, we've tested it. We show that the wine is toxic with these chemical grapes. The lakes has the water we drink, you know, and it's now got over 300 wineries dumping those toxic chemicals into our lake. I've started a new declaration to turn the entire valley organic by the year 2020. We're calling it the 2020 Vision. I'd love to do a second Fire Within talk just on that subject if I could.
I like this. I like that subject.
Oh, it's a wonderful subject. We've got almost all the mayors and almost all of the chiefs and thousands of signatures. People are not only signing it, they are converting their own lawns into organic and growing vegetables instead of grass, you know, stuff like that. It's really been catching on beautifully. and there are whole new farms that are converting to organic. We're getting wonderful media coverage and pats on the back from David Suzuki and, oh my gosh, Robert Bateman, many wonderful environmental people. My dad was sort of an entrepreneur in a small way. He was both a pharmacist and a dentist, and he taught pharmacology in dental school and published several textbooks on dentistry. And he traveled the world lecturing, and his books were translated into many languages. So he became quite famous. So that's kind of entrepreneurial.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yes. And my mom was also entrepreneurial. She became a PhD in English in the 50s and became a columnist at Time and Life magazine. She had her own column. But in those days, women were not allowed to be anything but a nurse or a housewife, a school teacher. They were not allowed to be accountants or lawyers or writers or anything. She had to write her column under M. Cipes. She couldn't say her name, Mildred Cipes. So somebody might think that she was a man.
Wow.
So I suppose they gave me a little idea of being entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
That was a good thing.
That's where the creative juices
Yes.
started to flow from you.
Yes. I recently wrote that I think being an entrepreneur is probably the most satisfying and most courageous and most magnificent career that a person could have, because it takes everything in. You need to be in touch with the world to be a real entrepreneur. Every aspect of the world.
A genuine entrepreneur.
A genuine entrepreneur, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. It's different today than it was 20, 30 years ago because we are in the technological era. We're in the era where we can, tweet and email and be on TV and this kind of thing. And we can reach thousands, maybe millions of souls, which is a beautiful thing. But yet we're also bombarded by too much crap. You know, we're overwhelmed with it. I mean, people don't even take the time to listen to anything if it's more than, 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So.
Well, you just touched a magic word, overwhelmed, because I personally feel that when I'm sitting in front of my television, even my computer, but definitely my television, I feel overwhelmed with all the stuff that's being thrown at me.
Right away, yeah.
For sure.
I don't watch TV.
You don't?
No, and I don't own a cell phone. I don't want to be, brought down to that vibrational level. I like to be without thought. You can call it stillness, or you can call it knowingness. I get it through meditation, and I hold it. That's a beautiful thing, is to be able to hold that state of receivership. It's being in our feminine receivership. We men are, sort of driven by our masculinity, so to speak. We are the bosses of the universe, blah, blah, blah.
As false as that may be.
Yeah. And if we relax that, even slightly, we gain so much. It's such a beautiful thing, just a gift. It's like it's through us rather than by us.
We want to know a little bit more about your dream.
Yes.
Because I personally have felt in the degree of knowledge and experience I've had with your children and with your winery, the staff out there, for example. Every time I go out to Summerhill, the staff make me feel special.
That's nice to hear. Thank you.
They do.
Thank you. Well, we have a saying about that too. We don't train our staff to be nice. We hire nice people.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's not an original.
No, I like that.
But I loved it when I saw it, and I use it. Actually, you can't train people to be hospitable. They either are hospitable or not.
Or they're not, yeah.
Yeah, they either love people and want to make them happy and feel at home, or they don't.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and we hire and welcome hospitable people, so we have a nice place there.
What's the future of Summerhill?
Well, to ask you a very good question, Joel, my ultimate dream is to have our 80 organic acres overlooking the magnificent Lake Okanagan be a venue for the grand teachings. And that may sound a little bit heady, But today, we need the grand teachings more than ever. You know,
Explain that to me.
Yes. Take a deep breath. What are the grand teachings, right? They've been written every century. There are always people in bodies who write about the grand teachings, the masters, okay, with a capital M, who tell us to go within, who tell us to listen to our hearts, you know, who show us how we are conduits of spirit, how we are divine, how we shouldn't give our power away, and how we are wasting our precious lives with, I call it the human experience, or the human drama, right? It's astonishing how much devotion we give to the human drama. And at the end of the day, which is a great Canadian way to say it, it doesn't mean a heap of beans. It doesn't mean anything. It's a wasted time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So many people on their deathbeds who have recovered, they say, oh my God, I wasted my life, 99% of it, with preoccupation about what? Who cares? Why didn't I open up and enjoy this magnificence called life, right? Why wasn't I spontaneous? One with the animals, one with the trees and the flowers, you know? Why didn't I? That sort of thing. Why did I give up on myself? Why I...
That's a profound
Very
statement
huge,
right there.
very huge.
Why did I give
Why
up on
did I
myself?
lose my little boy, little girl self? All those things, you know, our love of life. Why did I give it away, right? Why am I not laughing with my children now? Why am I sour on them and they're sour on me? You know, all that stuff. And what does it do? It makes us old and serious and yuck. Who wants to grow up? We all could be Peter Pan, right? I'm 7. How old are you?
How old are you?
7.
7?
7. I'm 7. Don't complicate me with the facts.
You've taken us on a really interesting journey.
Thank you.
I mean that with all my heart.
Thank you.
Thank you again for coming.
I raise a toast to you and your beautiful recovery. May you
Thank
be
you.
with us for many, many, many more times.
Bless your heart.
And all of these beautiful things you're doing. Tink you so much for everything.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Bye-bye.